I threw up in my lawyer's trash can when I read the second page. Not the first page, the one that said my 3 kids weren't biologically mine. I'd already suspected that. That's why I ordered the DNA test in the first place, after my 12-year-old daughter made an offhand comment about having Grandpa's exact same crooked smile. Something about the way she said it, proud, glowing, made my stomach drop. No, I lost it on page 2. The paternity match results. Biological father, Richard Morrison. My father? My own goddamn father. The lawyer, some guy named Patterson I'd hired specifically because he didn't know my family, he just sat there, staring at his desk. I remember thinking how strange it was that his office smelled like vanilla air freshener and old coffee. Like this was just another Tuesday for him. Like he hadn't just handed me a document that incinerated 20 years of my life. I'm a millionaire. Built a software company from my parents' garage when I was 23. By 30, I had a house in Westchester with 6 bedrooms I never used because I was always working, always on planes, always telling myself I was building something for them, for my wife, Claire, and our 3 kids, Emma, Jake, and Sophie. 3 beautiful kids I'd rocked to sleep, taught to ride bikes, helped with homework at midnight after red-eye flights because I didn't want them to think I'd forgotten. 3 kids who had my father's crooked smile, his deep-set eyes, his laugh. How did I miss it? How did I look at Emma's face every single day for 12 years and not see him staring back at me? I know what you're thinking. Maybe it's a mistake. Labs screw up. I thought that too, for about 45 seconds. Then I remembered the family dinners, the way my father volunteered to help Claire with the kids every time I traveled for work, which was 3, sometimes 4 times a month. The way she'd put on makeup before he came over. Little things I'd shoved down because questioning them felt crazy, paranoid, weak. My father used to tell me I was too soft, too trusting. "You're gonna get burned one day, son," he'd say, shaking his head like I was some naive kid who didn't understand how the world worked. Guess he made sure he was right. I sat in my car in that parking garage for 4 hours after I left Patterson's office. Just sat there, staring at the steering wheel. I missed 2 conference calls. My assistant called 6 times. I watched the sun go down through the concrete columns and thought about every single moment I'd been proud to introduce my kids as mine. Every Christmas morning, every father-daughter dance. Every time Jake told someone, "My dad's a genius, he built his own company." All of it, written in an afternoon. But here's what haunts me most. 2 weeks before I got those results, my father called me, out of nowhere. We didn't talk much, never had, but he called and said, "I'm proud of you, son. You turned out better than I ever expected." I actually teared up, thought maybe, finally, at 67 years old, he was trying to be the dad I'd always wanted. Now I know what he really meant. You turned out exactly how I needed you to. I'm sharing this story because I need you to understand something. This isn't about money. It's not about revenge or exposure or any of that. This is about what happens when the 2 people you're supposed to trust most in this world, your wife and your father, conspire to destroy you while smiling at your dinner table. This is about the moment you realize you don't know who you are anymore. Because if I'm not their father, if my father is actually their father, then what the hell have I been for 20 years? If you've ever had your reality shattered, if you've ever discovered a betrayal so deep it made you question your own memories, you need to hear what happened next. Because the DNA test? That was just the beginning. What I found when I started digging into my father's past, into Claire's phone records, into the real timeline of my marriage, that's when this story stops being about betrayal and starts being about something far darker. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you've ever felt this kind of rage, and subscribe, because I'm about to take you through 10 chapters of the most twisted family secret you've ever heard. And I promise you, by the end, you won't believe what my father was really hiding. I've always been good at building things. Software architectures, business models, seven-figure deals closed over whiskey and hotel bars while my family slept 3,000 miles away. What I apparently couldn't build was a functional bullshit detector when it came to my own life. 3 days after the DNA results, I'm still going through the motions. I showed up to the office, answered emails, smiled at my secretary when she brought me coffee, but inside, I'm excavating 20 years of marriage like an archaeological dig, brushing dirt off memories I'd carefully curated and realizing they're all forgeries. Claire called twice this morning. I let it go to voicemail both times. She doesn't know I know yet. Neither does my father. I've been sitting with this knowledge like a live grenade, trying to decide when to pull the pin. Patterson, my lawyer, told me to take time to process before making any decisions. Process, like this is a business acquisition gone bad, not the complete obliteration of my identity. He suggested therapy. I suggested he go fuck himself, though I said it politely because that's what we do, isn't it? We maintain composure even when our souls are hemorrhaging. I keep replaying that moment in the parking garage. 4 hours. My phone buzzed relentlessly. Texts from Claire asking if I'd pick up Jake from soccer practice. Messages from my CFO about the quarterly projections. A reminder about Emma's parent-teacher conference on Thursday. All these threads of normal life. And I just sat there thinking, do I even have the right to go to that conference anymore? Because here's the thing nobody tells you about this kind of betrayal. It doesn't just destroy your present, it retroactively poisons every good memory you have. That time Jake was born and I held him in the delivery room, tears streaming down my face, whispering, "I'll never let anything hurt you," ruined. Sophie's first steps, running toward me with her arms out, contaminated. Every "I love you, Daddy," every crayon drawing taped to my office door, every family photo where I'm grinning like an idiot who thought he understood what happiness looked like, all of it infected with the knowledge that I was playing a role written by someone else. My father called this afternoon. I almost answered. Almost. Just to hear if I could detect the lie in his voice. The smug satisfaction of a man who'd been raw-dogging my wife for 2 decades while I funded his retirement and paid for his grandkids', Jesus Christ, his kids' private school tuition? Instead, I sat in my corner office with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Manhattan and thought about the view from that parking garage. Concrete and shadows. Somehow more honest than this. Tonight, I'm supposed to go home. Claire's making pot roast, apparently. It's Tuesday. We always have pot roast on Tuesdays, because that's what functional families do. They have routines and traditions and the illusion of stability. I think I'll order the complete phone records instead. Start digging into the real timeline of my marriage. Patterson can bill me whatever he wants. The phone records arrived like a coroner's report. 347 pages documenting the death of my marriage, time-stamped and itemized. Patterson's paralegal dropped them off with the kind of careful neutrality people use around the recently bereaved. I suppose that's what I am, bereaved, except the corpse keeps walking around asking me what I want for dinner. I started with the year Emma was born, 13 years ago. Claire was 29, I was 32. We'd been married 4 years, together since college. I thought I knew her story like I knew my own. The calls to my father's number started appearing regularly 6 months into her pregnancy. Short calls, 3-4 minutes. I remember that time. I was launching the second version of our platform, practically living at the office. Claire said she was lonely. My father offered to check on her. bring her groceries, keep her company. How fucking convenient. By the time Emma was 6 months old, the calls had tripled, 15, 20 times a week. And here's what makes my skin crawl. They'd talk for exactly 7 minutes, then nothing for 2 hours, then another 7-minute call. Like they had a system, a protocol. I made a spreadsheet, because that's what I do when my world implodes. I organize the data. Column A, date. Column B, call duration. Column C, my travel schedule. I pulled my old calendars from the cloud, matched them up. 93% overlap. 93% of the time Claire called my father, I was out of town. And in the 2-hour gaps between calls, I checked the home security logs, the system I'd installed to keep them safe while I traveled. My father's car entering the driveway, staying for 90 minutes, 2 hours, sometimes 3. I want to vomit again, but there's nothing left. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Food tastes like ash, like betrayal has a flavor and it's coating my tongue. The worst part, I found a text from 3 years ago. My father to Claire. He called, said he'll be home Thursday instead of Friday. We need to be more careful. We need to be more careful. Not, this is wrong, not, we should stop. Just logistics, operational security. They were running a covert op in my own house, and I was the mark, too stupid to see it. There's a video file in the cloud storage, date stamped 2 years ago. I don't remember recording it. I click it anyway, and there's Jake, maybe 8 years old, sitting at the kitchen table with my father. They're building a model airplane together. "Grandpa, you're really good at this," Jake says, and his voice has that worshipful quality kids get around their heroes. "Your dad was never good with his hands," my father replies, not looking up. "Always had his head in the clouds. But you and me, Jake, we're practical men." The way he says, "you and me," the ownership in his voice. I exit the video, close the laptop, walk to my home office bar, and pour 3 fingers of whiskey I don't taste. Tomorrow, I'm hiring a private investigator. Because if they were this careful about phone calls, what else did they hide? The private investigator's name is Linda Vasquez. Former NYPD, now specializes in domestic asset recovery, which is corporate speak for finding out who's fucking who and where they hid the money. She has an office in Queens that smells like stale coffee and the kind of pragmatism I'm starting to appreciate. "How long?" she asks, not looking up from her notepad. "How long what?" "How long have you known something was wrong?" That's the question, isn't it? I tell her about the DNA test, the phone records, the security footage. But then she asks again, slower this time, like I'm a hostile witness who needs leading. "How long have you felt something was off?" And suddenly I'm back in our bedroom 4 years ago. Claire's phone buzzing at 2 a.m. She grabbed it fast, too fast, and I asked who it was. "Your father," she said. "Couldn't sleep, wanted to talk." I thought it was weird, thought about asking more questions. Then I rolled over and went back to sleep because questioning your wife about late-night calls from your dad felt insane. 4 years, I tell Linda, maybe longer. She nods like she's heard this before. The brain protects us from truths we're not ready to handle. You probably had 100 red flags you filed under paranoid or stressed or overreacting. I think about all those times Claire would smell different when I came home from trips. A cologne that wasn't mine. She'd say she'd been helping my father clean out his garage, sorting through old boxes. Why would I question that? Or the way my father always seemed to know intimate details about our arguments. Fights Claire and I had behind closed doors. "She told me you've been distant," he'd say, shaking his head with manufactured disappointment. "You work too much, son. You're going to lose them." Self-fulfilling prophecy, that. He made sure I lost them by ensuring they were never mine to lose. Linda spreads a map of Westchester on her desk. "Your father lives 15 minutes from you?" 12. "Bought the house right after we moved into ours. Said he wanted to be close to the grandkids." Of course he did. She marks both addresses. I'll need access to your home security system. All footage, last 5 years. Credit card statements for both of them. And I need you to not tell anyone, not your wife, not your father, not your best friend, that you're doing this.
Why?
Because if they think you're just upset about the DNA test, they'll have a cover story ready. But if they don't know you're digging deeper, they'll get sloppy. People always get sloppy when they think they've gotten away with it. I hand her a flash drive with everything. 5 years of digital breadcrumbs I was too trusting to follow. As I'm leaving, Linda stops me. One more thing. You mentioned your father called 2 weeks ago, said he was proud of you.
Yeah, so?
Did he say anything else? Anything about timing, travel plans, his health? I think back. He said he was thinking about his legacy lately. Wanted to make sure I knew he loved me. Linda's expression darkens. Has he updated his will recently? My blood runs cold.
I don't know.
Find out. Men like this don't get sentimental without reason. When someone tells you they're proud of you out of nowhere, are they confessing or preparing you for something worse? Linda calls me 6 days later. I'm in a board meeting discussing Q4 projections when my phone vibrates with her number. I excuse myself, walk out to the hallway, and answer on the second ring.
You need to see this in person.
She says. No preamble, no small talk. 20 minutes later, I'm back in her Queen's office, and she's connecting her laptop to a monitor on the wall. The screen fills with what looks like surveillance footage, grainy, time-stamped, my house from various angles.
Your security system saves to cloud storage, but it also keeps local backups on the DVR in your basement, Linda explains. Most people don't know that. Most people also don't know the DVR has a 6-year retention capacity if you never manually delete files.
She clicks play. The date stamp reads June 14th, 5 years ago. I was in San Francisco that week, closing a partnership with a venture capital firm. The footage shows my father's car pulling into my driveway at 11 a.m. He doesn't leave until 4:30. That's not the worst part, Linda says quietly. She fast-forwards through dozens of similar clips. My father arriving, staying for hours. Sometimes Claire's car is there. Sometimes it's not, which means the kids were home. Emma would have been 7, Jake 5, Sophie 3. Your kids witnessed this, I say, the words thick in my throat. Not necessarily witnessed, but they were in the house. And kids notice things. They absorb patterns even when they don't understand what they mean. Linda switches to a different file. This one's from the home computer, internet history she pulled from archived backups. Claire's search history from 4 years ago includes, can DNA tests be wrong? How accurate are paternity tests? Signs your husband suspects infidelity. She was researching what I might discover. Planning her defense while I was planning our anniversary trip to Napa. There's more, Linda says, pulling up bank statements. I ran a forensic accounting analysis. Over the last 12 years, roughly $68,000 has moved from your joint account to your father's account in increments small enough not to trigger your attention. 300 here, 500 there. Claire had withdrawal authorization. I'm gripping the edge of her desk so hard my knuckles are white. She was paying him? Or he was extorting her? Or they were building a nest egg? I can't tell you which without more context. The room tilts slightly. $68,000. I'd given Claire full account access because marriage is about trust, right? Partnership. And she'd been skimming money, our money, to fund whatever sick arrangement she had with my father. Linda pulls up one final document. A life insurance policy I apparently took out 8 years ago. I don't remember signing it. $20 million payout. Primary beneficiary, Claire Morrison. Secondary beneficiaries, Emma, Jake, and Sophie Morrison. Look at the signature, Linda says, zooming in. It's mine, perfectly forged. Every loop and slant identical to my actual signature. I need you to understand something, Linda says, her voice taking on a cop quality I haven't heard before. This isn't just about an affair anymore. This is financial fraud, identity theft, and possibly conspiracy. If something happened to you, an accident, sudden illness, Claire and your father stood to gain $20 million, plus your company equity, your real estate portfolio, everything. You think they were planning to kill me? I think you need to consider the possibility. Your father's legacy call 2 weeks ago? That reads like guilt or preparation, maybe both. I stand up, walk to the window. Outside, normal people are living normal lives, going to work, buying coffee, complaining about traffic. Meanwhile, I'm standing in a private investigator's office learning that my family might be planning my murder. What do I do? Linda hands me a folder. You take this to a criminal attorney, not a divorce lawyer. You document everything. You do not, under any circumstances, confront them alone. Do you understand me? I nod, numb. And you might want to update your will, she adds, just in case. I haven't been home in 8 days. I've been staying at a hotel in Midtown, telling Claire I'm dealing with an emergency situation with investors that requires round-the-clock attention. She hasn't questioned it. Why would she? I've been using work as an excuse to avoid my family for 20 years. This is just another Tuesday. But tonight, I have to go back. Emma's 13th birthday party. I can't miss it without raising suspicion. And Linda was explicit. Act normal until we have everything documented and filed. Act normal. Like I know what that means anymore. I pull into the driveway at 6 p.m. The house is lit up, decorated with purple streamers, Emma's favorite color. Through the window, I can see people moving around. Family friends, Claire's sister, and my father, of course, standing in my kitchen like he belongs there. Because he does belong there more than I do, doesn't he? Those are his biological children inside, his blood, his genes, his crooked smile on Emma's face. I sit in the car for 5 minutes, breathing exercises I learned from a YouTube video at 3 a.m. Then I grab the gift I bought, a laptop for Emma's coding classes, because she wants to be a software engineer like her dad, and I walk inside. "Daddy!" Sophie runs at me, 6 years old and pure joy. She wraps her arms around my legs, and I feel something crack inside my chest. She doesn't know. None of them know. To them, I'm still dad, still the guy who helps with homework and makes pancakes on Sundays. I pick her up, and she smells like strawberry shampoo and innocence. "Hi, baby girl," I manage. Claire appears from the kitchen, wearing the blue dress I bought her for Christmas. She kisses my cheek. "You made it. I was worried the meeting would run late." She's a good liar. Probably had 20 years of practice. "Wouldn't miss it," I say, and I'm a good liar too, apparently. My father is in the living room, talking to Jake about baseball. He sees me and raises his beer, my beer, from my fridge, in a casual salute. There he is, the big man himself. I want to put that beer bottle through his skull. Instead, I nod. "Dad." Dinner is excruciating. We sit around the table I custom built, eating food Claire cooked in the kitchen I renovated, celebrating a child who isn't mine with the man who made sure of it. Everyone's laughing, telling stories, and I'm calculating how many years they might get for fraud and conspiracy. Emma opens presents. She gets to mine last, the laptop, and her face lights up. "This is perfect! Thanks, Dad." Dad. The word used to feel like an achievement. Now it feels like a participation trophy for showing up to someone else's game. After cake, I find myself alone with Emma in the backyard. She's quiet, thoughtful, gets that from me, apparently, even though we share 0 DNA. "You okay?" she asks, and it's so perceptive, so tuned in, that I almost break. "Just tired, sweetheart. Work stuff." She nods, but she's studying my face. "Mom says you've been stressed lately. Grandpa says you work too much." Grandpa says. Of course he does. Probably tells them all kinds of things about me when I'm not around. Do you like Grandpa spending time with you guys? I ask, trying to sound casual. Yeah, he's cool. He gets us better than... She stops, looks uncomfortable. Better than who? Never mind. She kicks at the grass. It's dumb. Emma, tell me. She sighs. Better than you sometimes. Like, he knows our favorite foods without asking. He remembers stuff about our friends. You're always asking questions like you're trying to catch up. Because I am trying to catch up. I'd been trying to catch up for 13 years with a man who's been there the whole time, living my life better than I could, being the father I was too busy to be. And now I know why. I'm sorry, I tell her, and I mean it. I'm going to do better. She smiles, his crooked smile, and hugs me. It's okay, Dad. You do your best. Inside, I can hear Claire laughing at something my father said. That high, bright laugh she used to save for me. If the children you've loved their entire lives aren't biologically yours, are they still your children? Or are you just the man who paid the bills? My father calls the morning after Emma's party. I'm back at the hotel, reviewing documents Linda sent over, a timeline of everything we've uncovered so far. His name lights up my phone, and this time I answer. Hey, son. His voice is gravelly, worn. 67 years of Marlboro Reds and whiskey. Good seeing you last night. Been too long. Yeah, I keep my voice neutral, flat. What's up? Just wanted to check in. You seemed off yesterday. Everything all right? Off. I was off because I was having dinner with the man who's been sleeping with my wife and raising my children, his children, for over a decade. But sure, let's call it off. Work stress, I lie. Big acquisition falling through. That's rough. He pauses. Listen, I was thinking, why don't we grab lunch this week? Just the two of us. Been meaning to talk to you about some things. My pulse quickens. Is this it? Is he going to confess? Or is this part of whatever Linda warned me about? The will, the legacy, the suspicious timing of his sudden sentimentality? Sure, I hear myself say. Thursday work? Thursday's perfect. I'll text you the place. After he hangs up, I immediately call Linda. She listens to my recap, then says, "Wear a wire." A what? A recording device, audio only. New York is a one-party consent state, meaning you can legally record conversations you're part of. If he confesses anything, affair, fraud, even just suspicious comments about your relationship, we have it on record. You think he'll confess? I think guilty people love to brag when they think they've won, especially to the person they've beaten. It's a power thing. Thursday comes too fast. The restaurant is Italian, expensive, the kind of place my father would never afford on his own. I wonder how much of my money, skimmed through Claire over the years, paid for his lifestyle. The nice car, the renovated house, the lavish gifts for the grandkids. He's already there, sitting in a corner booth. Stands when he sees me, extends his hand. I shake it. His grip is firm, confident. The grip of a man who's gotten away with everything. "You look tired," he says as we sit. "Haven't been sleeping well." "Claire mentioned that. Said you've been at the office late a lot." Claire mentioned. Of course they talk about me, compare notes, make sure their stories align. We order. Small talk about the weather, about Jake's baseball team, about Emma's excitement over the laptop. All of it normal, casual. I'm waiting for him to get to whatever he really wants to discuss. Finally, after the appetizers arrive, he leans back. "I need to tell you something. It's been weighing on me." This is it. The wire under my shirt feels suddenly obvious, bulky. I force myself to breathe normally. "Okay." "I'm sick." He says it simply, without drama. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. They give me 6 months, maybe 8. The room tunnels. For a second, I forget about the affair, the DNA tests, all of it. Because despite everything, he's still my father. The man who taught me to ride a bike, who came to my college graduation, who told me he was proud when I made my first $1 million. Then I remember what Linda said. Men like this don't get sentimental without reason. Jesus, I say, how long have you known? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Right around when he called to tell me he loved me, when he started talking about legacy. Does Claire know? Something flickers across his face, brief, gone almost immediately, but I catch it. I told her last week, asked her not to mention it yet, wanted to tell you myself. He told Claire first. He told my wife before telling me, his son. Why didn't you tell me right away, I ask. He looks down at his wine. Because I need to ask you something, and I needed time to figure out how. Ask me what? He meets my eyes, and for the first time in my life, I see something in his expression I've never seen before. Fear. I need you to promise me you'll take care of them after I'm gone. Claire, the kids, they're going to need you more than ever. The audacity, the sheer fucking audacity of this man to sit across from me, dying from the inside out, and ask me to take care of the family he's been destroying. Of course, I say, because I'm still pretending, still playing my role. They're my family. They are, he says, and there's something loaded in the way he emphasizes it. And I need you to know, whatever happens, whatever you hear about me after I'm gone, I did everything because I love them, because I love you. He's dying, and he's still lying. I meet with Linda and a criminal attorney named Marcus Chen the morning after lunch with my father. The recording is clear, damning in its implications, if not its explicit content. Whatever you hear about me after I'm gone, Marcus repeats, playing that section again, that's consciousness of guilt. He knows there's something to discover. But it's not a confession, I say. He didn't admit to anything specific. No, but combined with everything else, the forged insurance policy, the financial transfers, the phone records, it builds a pattern. Marcus spreads documents across his conference table. Here's what we can prove right now. Financial fraud, identity theft, possible tax evasion. The affair itself isn't illegal, but if we can demonstrate conspiracy to defraud, that's criminal. What about the kids, I ask? What happens to them? Linda and Marcus exchange a look. Linda speaks first. That depends on what you want. You've been their legal father since birth. You're on the birth certificates. In New York, paternity established at birth doesn't automatically dissolve because of biological evidence. You'd have to formally challenge it. And if I do, your father becomes their legal father, and Claire becomes a single mother of 3 children she had with her father-in-law. The legal and social implications are, Marcus trails off, complicated. And if I don't challenge it, then you're on the hook for child support, possibly alimony, and you maintain parental rights. But you're also legally responsible for 3 children who aren't biologically related to you. I think about Emma's hug, Sophie's strawberry shampoo smell, Jake's worshipful voice telling people I'm a genius. They are my kids, I say quietly, biology or not. I raised them. I was there for every nightmare, every first day of school. My father donated sperm. I've been their actual father. That's admirable, Marcus says. But you need to understand, if you pursue criminal charges against your father and Claire, this all becomes public. The kids will know. Your business partners will know. Your employees. Everyone. They deserve to know the truth. Do they? Linda's voice is gentle but pointed. Emma just turned 13. Jake is 10. Sophie is 6. You want them to know their mother had an affair with their grandfather? That their entire family structure is a lie? That's a lot of therapy, my friend. I close my eyes. See Emma at the birthday party, showing off her laptop to her friends. Jake at the dinner table, telling a joke that made everyone laugh. Sophie drawing pictures of our family. Stick figures holding hands. A house with a red door. A dog we don't have but she keeps asking for. So what are my options? Marcus ticks them off. Option 1. Criminal prosecution. You burn it all down. Claire likely gets jail time, your father dies in prison, the kids go into therapy for decades. Option 2. Civil action. Divorce, sue for fraud, recover assets, keep it relatively quiet. Option 3. You walk away. Take the evidence, use it as leverage in a settlement, disappear from their lives. Option 3 isn't an option. Then you're looking at 1 or 2. And you need to decide fast because your father's timeline accelerates everything. If he dies before we can file charges or subpoena records, a lot of potential evidence dies with him. I spend that night in my hotel room, reviewing photos on my phone. Thousands of them. Birthday parties, vacations, random Tuesday afternoons. There's one from 2 years ago, all of us at the beach. My father is in it, standing next to Claire. Her hand is on his arm. I remember taking the photo, remember thinking it was nice that they got along so well. I zoom in on their faces. They're smiling, but there's something else there, something intimate. How did I not see it? There's a knock on my door at midnight. I assume it's hotel staff, but when I check the peephole, it's Claire. My wife. My beautiful, lying, conspiring wife. I open the door. She's been crying. Her makeup is smudged, her eyes red. He told you, didn't he, about the cancer? Yeah. Can I come in? Every instinct screams no, but I step aside, let her enter. She sits on the edge of the bed, and I stay standing near the door. Flight distance. I know you've been avoiding us, she says. I know something's wrong. Is it work? Is it us? Is it us? The question would be funny if it wasn't so tragic. I'm just dealing with some things, I say carefully. She looks up at me, and her expression is so earnest, so seemingly genuine, that I almost believe her. Almost. I love you. You know that, right? Whatever happens with Richard, with his illness, we're going to get through this. As a family. Richard. She calls him Richard, not Dad. Not your father. Just Richard. Like he's a colleague, a friend. How often do you talk to him? I ask. What? My father, how often do you two talk? She blinks. I don't know. Couple times a week? He checks in on the kids. Why? Just curious. You seem close. He's family. She stands, walks toward me. Baby, what's going on? You're scaring me. I want to scream at her, want to play the recordings, show her the phone records, the security footage, the forged insurance policy. I want to watch her face when she realizes I know everything. Instead, I kiss her forehead. I'm just stressed. Go home. I'll be back soon. She hesitates, then nods. I love you, she says again. I know. After she leaves, I call Marcus. Option 1, I tell him. We burn it all down. Marcus files the criminal complaint on a Monday morning. By Monday afternoon, 2 detectives from the District Attorney's Financial Crimes Unit are sitting in my lawyer's conference room reviewing Linda's evidence with the kind of focused intensity that makes my chest tight with vindication and terror. Detective Sarah Okonkwo is lead investigator. She's methodical, asks pointed questions about timeline, motive, access. Her partner, Detective Mike Torres, focuses on the digital evidence, phone records, security footage, the forged insurance policy signature. This is substantial, Okonkwo says, not looking up from the documents. But I need to be straight with you, Mr. Morrison. The affair itself isn't criminal. What we're looking at is financial fraud, identity theft, and potentially conspiracy. The paternity issue complicates things, but it's not the crime here. I understand. Do you? She meets my eyes. Because once we start this investigation, it becomes public record. Your wife will be arrested. Your father, if he lives long enough to stand trial, will be arrested. Your children will have their lives dissected. Is that what you want? I want justice. Justice and revenge aren't the same thing. I know the difference. She studies me for a long moment, then nods. We'll execute search warrants on your home and your father's residence tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I recommend you're not present. I'm not present. I'm at the hotel when Linda calls at 6:15 a.m. They're inside both houses. Claire called your phone 4 times already. I know. I'm not answering. Your father's lawyer showed up, high-profile guy. This is going to get ugly. Let it. By noon, it's on the news. Not the affair, they can't report that yet, but software millionaire files criminal complaint against wife and father, fraud investigation underway. My phone explodes. Business partners, investors, board members. My assistant calls 6 times before I finally answer. "What the hell is happening?" she asks. "The press is camped outside the office." "Tell them no comment and clear my schedule for the next month." "Your father called. He sounds—" I don't care how he sounds. I hang up, stare at the ceiling of this anonymous hotel room that's become more home than my actual house. Emma calls at 2 p.m. I almost don't answer, but I can't ignore her. She's 13. This is going to destroy her. "Dad?" Her voice is small, young. "What's happening? Mom is crying and there are police here and they're taking her computer and—" "Emma, breathe. Is there an adult there with you?" "Aunt Rachel came. She took us to her house. But Dad, why are the police at our house? Did someone rob us?" How do I explain this? How do I tell my 13-year-old daughter that her mother and grandfather have been lying to us for her entire life? "Something happened with some financial documents," I say carefully. "The police need to investigate. You're safe. Your mom is safe. I need you to stay with Aunt Rachel for a few days, okay? Are you coming?" "Not right now, sweetheart." "Why not?" And then, quieter, "Are you and Mom getting divorced?" The question hangs between us. I could lie, could tell her everything's fine. Instead, I say, "I don't know yet, but whatever happens, I love you. All 3 of you. That never changes." She's crying now. "Grandpa keeps calling Mom. She won't answer. He sounds really scared." Good. He should be scared. "Emma, I need to go, but I'll call you tonight, okay? Tell Jake and Sophie I love them." "Okay," she whispers and hangs up. I sit there, phone in hand, realizing what I've just done. I've detonated a bomb in the center of my children's lives. For truth, for justice, for revenge disguised as righteousness. That evening, my father's attorney releases a statement. Richard Morrison is a 67-year-old man battling terminal cancer who has been falsely accused by his son in what appears to be a tragic misunderstanding exacerbated by grief and stress. We intend to vigorously defend against these baseless allegations. Baseless? The forged signature is baseless? The $68,000 is baseless? The phone records, the security footage, the DNA evidence? All baseless? Marcus calls. They're going to play the sympathy card. Dying old man victimized by stressed-out son. We need to be prepared for public opinion to turn. I have evidence. Evidence doesn't matter when the narrative is a heartwarming old man being persecuted on his deathbed by his ungrateful millionaire son. We need to get ahead of this. How? You give an interview. Tell your story. Control the narrative before they control it for you. I think about Emma's voice, small and scared. About Sophie, who at 6 won't understand any of this. About Jake, who worships his grandfather, his biological father, and will hate me for destroying him. Set it up, I tell Marcus. Because if I'm going to ruin my children's lives in the name of truth, I'm going to make damn sure everyone knows why. The interview airs on a Friday evening, national news program, prime time. They set me up in a studio with soft lighting meant to make me look trustworthy, human. The interviewer is Jennifer Walsh, known for her empathetic approach to difficult subjects. She doesn't go easy on me. "Mr. Morrison, you've accused your terminally ill father and your wife of over a decade of fraud and deception. Some say this is a wealthy man lashing out during a difficult time. What do you say to that?" I look directly at the camera, at America, at Claire, wherever she's watching, at my father in his hospital bed. Because yes, the stress triggered a collapse and he's been hospitalized since the raid. I say evidence doesn't lie. People do. I walk her through it. The DNA test, the phone records, the security footage. I don't mention the affair explicitly. Marcus advised against it, said it would seem vindictive. but I lay out the financial fraud, the forged insurance policy, the pattern of deception. "But these are your children," Walsh presses. "Even if they're not biologically yours, you've raised them. Why put them through this public ordeal?" "Because they deserve to know the truth about where they came from. And because fraud is fraud, regardless of who commits it. Your father is dying. Do you have any regrets about the timing?" This is the question I've been dreading. Because yes, I have regrets, but not the ones she's expecting. I regret that it took me 20 years to see what was happening in my own house. I regret the time I lost with my children while I was building a business. I regret trusting people who saw my trust as weakness. But do I regret pursuing justice? No. The interview runs 23 minutes. By the time it's over, social media is on fire. Hashtag Team Morrison trends alongside hashtag Team Richard. People dissect my facial expressions, my word choices, my body language. Half the country thinks I'm a hero exposing corruption. The other half thinks I'm a vindictive monster torturing a dying man. I don't care about half the country. I care about 3 people. Emma texts me that night, "Why didn't you tell us first?" Jake doesn't text at all. Sophie, 6 years old and too young to understand, sends me a voice message. "Daddy, when are you coming home? I miss you." I listen to it 17 times. Linda calls Sunday morning. The DA is moving forward with charges. Claire's being arraigned tomorrow. Your father's attorney is arguing he's too ill to stand trial, but the judge hasn't ruled yet. What are the chances he goes to prison? Honestly, low. He's got 6 months to live, maybe less. Even if convicted, he'll likely die before sentencing. But Claire, she's looking at 3 to 5 years if convicted. 3 to 5 years. My children's mother in prison while they're still in school? While they're still forming who they're going to be? "There's something else," Linda says, and her tone makes my stomach drop. "We found additional documents during the search. Your father's will. He updated it 6 weeks ago. And he left everything to Emma, Jake, and Sophie. His house, his savings, his life insurance, about $2.2 million total. Nothing to you. Nothing to Claire." The implication sinks in. He knew. 6 weeks ago, he knew this was coming. Updated his will to protect his biological children, cut out the 2 people who could expose him. There's a letter too, sealed. His attorney says it's only to be opened after his death, addressed to you. What does it say? We don't know. It's privileged, but you'll get it when he dies. When, not if. I visit him that afternoon. The hospital is sterile, beeping, smells like antiseptic and dying. He's in a private room, paid for with money I earned, probably, hooked up to machines that are buying him time he doesn't deserve. He's awake when I enter. His eyes track me as I sit in the chair beside his bed. "You came," he rasps. "Had to see it for myself. You actually dying, or is this another lie?" He manages a weak smile. "Dying, Scout's honor." "You were never a scout." "No, I wasn't." He coughs, and it sounds like his lungs are tearing. "You did well on TV. Very composed, very righteous." "I told the truth." "Truth," he laughs, and it turns into more coughing. "You told the facts. Facts and truth aren't always the same thing." "Explain that to me. I'd love to hear your philosophy on truth." He's quiet for a long moment. Then, "I loved her. Your mother. Did you know that? Really loved her. But she loved you more. Always you. Her brilliant boy. Her special son. And I was just there. Background noise. So you fucked my wife to get back at Mom? She's been dead for 15 years. I fucked your wife because she was lonely and I was available, and you were too busy building an empire to notice your family was falling apart." He meets my eyes. You want to blame me? Fine. But you built this. You created the vacuum I filled. The rage is white-hot, volcanic. I worked to provide for them. You worked to prove you were better than me, smarter, more successful. And you were. You are. But while you were out proving it, someone needed to be there for them. So I was. You manipulated them, used them. I loved them, love them. Those kids, they're mine in every way that matters. And when I'm gone, they're going to need you, but you're going to have to earn it this time. Actually be there, not just write checks. I stand up. You don't get to give me parenting advice, not after what you did. Probably not. He closes his eyes. But I'm going to anyway. Let this go. Drop the charges. Claire doesn't deserve prison, and those kids don't deserve to lose both their mother and their grandfather in the same year. Why should I? Because you're better than me. You always have been. Don't let this make you into something you're not. I walk out without another word, but his voice follows me. Read the letter when I'm gone, please. My father dies on a Wednesday morning, 3 weeks after our hospital conversation. The cancer moved faster than anyone expected. Or maybe he just gave up once he knew the letter was in place, his final play executed. I'm in a deposition when I get the call. Claire's voice hoarse from crying. He's gone. The kids want you here. I almost say no, almost. But there's something in her voice, genuine grief maybe, or just exhaustion from maintaining lies, that makes me drive to the house I haven't entered in 6 weeks. They're in the living room when I arrive. Emma on the couch, Jake in the armchair that used to be mine, Sophie curled up with Claire, all of them crying. All of them looking at me like I'm a stranger who might have answers. "Daddy!" Sophie runs to me, and I catch her. She's so small, so breakable. "Grandpa's in heaven now, right?" "Yeah, baby, he's in heaven." "Will you stay with us?" She looks up at me with eyes, his eyes, I notice for the 1,000th time, that are so full of hope and hurt that I can barely breathe. For a while, yeah. The funeral is Saturday, enormous turnout, friends, former colleagues, people from his church. The man knew everyone, charmed everyone. Standing at the graveside, listening to the pastor talk about Richard Morrison's generosity, his devotion to family, his love for his grandchildren, I feel like I'm at a stranger's funeral, or maybe a fictional character's. The man being eulogized bears no resemblance to the man who forged my signature and destroyed my marriage. After the burial, his attorney approaches me with an envelope. The letter. He was very specific, the attorney says. You're to read this alone. I take it to my hotel room, sit on the bed, stare at my name written in my father's handwriting, shaky now, affected by illness, but still recognizably his. Inside, there are 3 pages, handwritten. Son, if you're reading this, I'm dead. Good. Means I don't have to see your face when you finish. Everything they're saying at my funeral is bullshit. You know it, I know it. But here's what they won't say. I was a coward. Your whole life I was a coward. Your mother, she was the strong one, the brilliant one. And she loved you with a ferocity I never understood, because I'd never loved anything that much. When she got pregnant with you, I was terrified. Terrified I'd fail you. Terrified you'd turn out like me. And then you didn't. You turned out better, smarter, kinder, everything I wasn't. It made me proud. It also made me jealous. When your mother died, I thought maybe we'd finally connect. 2 men grieving the same woman. But you were already gone, off building your empire, becoming the man she always knew you'd be. And I was alone. Just a failed father watching his successful son from a distance. Then I met Claire. Properly, I mean, not just as your wife, but as a person. She was lonely. You were never home. And I'm not making excuses. What I did was unforgivable. But I need you to understand, it wasn't about you. It was never about you. Except it was. Because every time I was with her, every time I was with those kids, I was trying to build what I couldn't build with you. A relationship, a connection, something that felt like family. The DNA test results, I knew they'd come eventually, knew you'd figure it out, smart like your mother, but I thought I had time, thought I could fix it somehow, make it right before you found out. Then the cancer came, and I realized I was out of time for fixing anything. The life insurance policy, that was Claire's idea. She was terrified you'd leave her if you found out. Thought if she could make you financially dependent on staying married, you wouldn't walk away. I told her it was stupid, but I signed the forms anyway because I'm weak and I loved her and I couldn't say no. The money transfers, that was me. I was bleeding my savings trying to keep up with your lifestyle, trying to be the grandfather those kids deserved. So I skimmed from your accounts. Figured you had so much, you'd never notice. I was right. You didn't. Here's the part that's going to kill you. Those kids love you, really love you. Not because you're their biological father, they don't know that, and if you're smart, you'll never tell them, but because you're their dad. The guy who tries, who shows up late but shows up, who builds them a life even if you're not always in it. I gave them biology. You gave them everything else. Claire's charges, drop them. She doesn't deserve prison. She made bad choices because I manipulated her into making them. If you want to hate someone, hate me. I'm dead. Can't hurt me anymore. But those kids, Emma, Jake, Sophie, they need their mother, and they need you. I'm leaving them my estate. Not much compared to what you've built, but enough to start college funds. Enough to know their grandfather, their biological father, Christ, that's fucked up, loved them. You asked me once why I told you I was proud. I'll tell you now. Because you're everything I wanted to be. Everything I failed to become. And even though I destroyed your life, you're still standing, still fighting, still better than me. That's not weakness, son. That's strength. I'm sorry for all of it. I know that doesn't fix anything, but it's true. Be the father I couldn't be. Both kinds. Dad. I read it twice, then a third time. Then I fold it carefully, put it back in the envelope, and sit in silence for an hour. He's dead. He can't answer questions, can't clarify, can't defend himself, or be held accountable. Just these 3 pages of confession disguised as apology, manipulation disguised as repentance. And still, those kids love you. Not because you're their biological father, but because you're their dad, the guy who tries, who shows up late but shows up, who builds them a life even if you're not always in it. I gave them biology. You gave them everything else. Claire's charges, drop them. She doesn't deserve prison. She made bad choices because I manipulated her into making them. If you want to hate someone, hate me. I'm dead. Can't hurt me anymore. But those kids, Emma, Jake, Sophie, they need their mother. And they need you. I'm leaving them my estate. Not much compared to what you've built, but enough to start college funds. Enough to know their grandfather, their biological father, Christ, that's fucked up, loved them. You asked me once why I told you I was proud. I'll tell you now. Because you're everything I wanted to be. Everything I failed to become. And even though I destroyed your life, you're still standing, still fighting, still better than me. That's not weakness, son. That's strength. I'm sorry for all of it. I know that doesn't fix anything, but it's true. Be the father I couldn't be. Both kinds. Dad. I read it twice, then a third time. Then I fold it carefully, put it back in the envelope, and sit in silence for an hour. He's dead. He can't answer questions, can't clarify, can't defend himself or be held accountable. Just these 3 pages of confession disguised as apology, manipulation disguised as repentance. And still, those kids love you, not because you're their biological father, but because you're their dad. Marcus calls that evening. Claire's plea hearing is Monday. Are you still pursuing this? I think about Emma's text, Sophie's voice message, Jake's silence that speaks louder than words. I think about 20 years of being a father. Imperfect, absent too often, but trying. Always trying. No, I hear myself say, drop it. All of it. Are you sure? I'm sure. I call Claire. She answers on the first ring, voice wary. Hello? The charges are dropped. Marcus will file the paperwork tomorrow. Silence. Then quietly, why? Because our kids need their mother, and because I'm done letting my father, letting Richard, control our lives. Thank you, she's crying now. I know I don't deserve, you don't, but they do, so we're going to figure out how to co-parent. For them. Okay. Another pause. Did you read the letter? Yeah. What did it say? I look at the envelope, at my father's handwriting, at his final attempt to shape the narrative even from beyond the grave. It said goodbye. We talk for 20 minutes, work out logistics, therapy for the kids, family counseling, custody arrangements. It's civil, practical. The marriage is over, but maybe we can salvage something for Emma, Jake, and Sophie. After I hang up, I finally call Emma. Dad? Hey, sweetheart. I'm coming home. Actually home, not the hotel. And I need to talk to you, all 3 of you, about what happens next. Is Mom going to jail? No, the charges are dropped. I hear her exhale, relief, maybe tears. Good, that's good. Emma? Yeah? I love you. You're my daughter. That never changes, no matter what. I know, Dad. Her voice is small, wounded, but there. I love you too. That night, I drive to the house, park in the driveway. The lights are on inside, warm, inviting, deceptive in their normalcy. I don't know what comes next. Don't know how to rebuild trust, how to co-parent with a woman who betrayed me, how to raise children who are biologically my half-siblings. But I know this. I'm their father. Not because of DNA, not because of birth certificates or legal documents, but because I chose them. Every day, even when I wasn't there, I chose them. And I'll keep choosing them until they don't need me to anymore. I walk inside. Sophie sees me first, runs with that 6-year-old joy that hasn't been completely crushed by the weight of adult betrayals. I pick her up and she whispers in my ear, "Daddy's home." Yeah, I am. 6 months later, Emma asks me why I dropped the charges. We're in my new apartment, smaller than the house, but mine, and she's helping me assemble furniture for her bedroom here. Because being right isn't the same as being good, I tell her, and you needed your mom more than I needed revenge. She considers this, then, did Grandpa really do all those things? Yeah. Did you hate him? I think about my father's letter, his confession, his manipulation from beyond the grave. No, I hate what he did, but he was still my dad. That's confusing. Yeah, it really is. We work in silence for a while. Then Emma says, "You're a good dad. Even when you weren't home, you were still trying. I know that now." I have to look away so she doesn't see me tear up. Thanks, sweetheart. Love you, Dad. Love you too. Later that night, after Emma falls asleep watching TV, I pull out my father's letter one final time. Read it through. Then I do something I should have done months ago. I forgive him. Not because he deserves it, but because holding on to that rage was destroying what's left of my life. I throw the letter away, turn off the lights, check on Emma one more time. She's curled up on the couch, peaceful, his crooked smile visible even in sleep. My daughter. his biological daughter. Our complicated, painful, beautiful truth. Tomorrow, I'll keep being her father. And the day after that. And every day until this becomes normal or something close to it. Because that's what fathers do. They show up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. If you've stayed with me through this entire story, thank you. Thank you for bearing witness to the hardest chapters of my life. If this resonated with you, if you've ever experienced betrayal, grief, or the complicated mess of loving imperfect people, please hit that like button. Share this video. Leave a comment telling me your story, because I promise you, you're not alone. Subscribe to this channel, because healing isn't a destination, it's a process. And maybe, by sharing ours, we can help each other through it. Be kind to yourselves. And remember, family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about who stays.